What's happening, Rebels? Andy McCabe here. This is the Restoration Rebel Roundtable for the 7th of June, 2023. Can't believe one of my kids is out of school already, and the other one is going to be out of school for the summer next week. And we are not prepared. We are not prepared. So let's do the do, huh? Here we go. Rebel agreements. Agreement number 1, I will protect the value of my services. Agreement number 2, I will practice incredible transparency. Agreement number 3, I do not believe in competition. Agreement number 4, I am willing to walk away from any project, client, or contract that's not compatible with my values and stated mission. So here we are. Must be a busy week for everyone else. It's good. Not going to complain about that. I'm sure Abby is in the middle of some sort of bedtime dinner routine. Yeah, dinner at our house has become later and later as our children have become older. We got a 13 and 14-year-old, and all of a sudden we find ourselves eating dinner at 7:30. 7:30 at night. Yeah, I'm like 45 minutes away from bed most nights, but it's just what happens. It's what happens. So I am noticing more and more, maybe it's a West Coast thing. Maybe it's, I don't know where Safeco and Liberty Mutual have their respective policyholder bases. But man, every single file I see from Safeco is just ridiculous in the level of which the adjusters are just not following any semblance of good faith claims handling. I'm seeing blanket denials based on nothing but we don't pay for that, and denials for things like, well, we don't cover ice damage to roofs. And there's nothing in the insurance policy that says that. And go get an estimate from another contractor because we don't like this number. And then they deliver the number. Oh, we don't like this number either. Just stupidity. So what I have decided is somebody else. Who's out there? Zachariah. There we go. Getting Zach in the room here. So what I have decided, the claims that come across my desk, as a PA, when someone finds me, shit went wrong. Shit is broken. I don't go out and search for clients. I'm not in the business of searching for PA clients. I'm busy enough with Zach, and I are busy enough with our estimating shit we got going on. So when someone somehow finds me on the interwebs or is recommended to me, I know going in that the file is going to be a hot pile. Nothing has gone right. So that might jade me. That might give me a different perspective on the entire industry because all I see is the shit. Yeah, there's probably a little bit of that going on, but there's something else. My gut tells me that this is all intentional. And folks can speak to how State Farm is treating their claimants here recently and say the same thing. There is something intentional and nefarious happening. And I know there's people out there to say, oh, the C-suite has no idea, right? The president of Allstate and State Farm and Safeco have no idea what's happening down low. And I've even heard it said that the C-suite of these major carriers actually believe they're doing right by their insureds. It may or may not be the case, but the insureds are not being treated correctly and not being treated fairly. So what I set out to say about 5 minutes ago before I went on a rant is every file that I get, I am just automatically prepping for litigation. I'm giving this thing 4 weeks. I'm going to issue some demands. We're going to see if they can do the right thing. If they can't do the right thing in 4 weeks, boom, off to the attorney. And I'm like, out, I'm done. So, all right, Abby's got to go. Zach, what's new, man?
What's up, brother?
What's happening?
I think I don't know that the C-suite folks really understand. I think there's a true disconnect there.
Right.
I think the other side is just what's happened in the last 3 to 4 years that people don't want to admit it, but I think money's tighter than it's been for a lot of these carriers. So I think they find and look for reasons to fight you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them total bullshit. And I think the other side of the coin, which every industry that I've talked to a bunch of buddies in different industries are seeing, high turnover rate over the last 3 years because so many of the old adjusters who were in their 40s, 50s, 60s, good guys, guys who understood the game, guys who would write a fair sheet, guys who would come to an agreed price.
They're gone.
You don't hear those terms anymore. They just want to fight you and deny a claim. They don't even want to talk about, can we get to an agreed price?
No. Or agreed scope.
Yeah. And that's why I said, like last week when I was on here, I mean, it's such a breath of fresh air to write for this one carrier. I mean, they're a small carrier, they're just in Ohio, but he wants me to go out and get an agreed price. And when I approach a contractor, they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, man, just, what can we do this job for? This is what Xactimate's got. Take a look at my sheet, and they look at it and they go, we can agree. Let's go. Okay, good. Done. That's so called nice. People helping people, which is something that the big carriers have forgotten how to do.
Do you think they're going to see that reflected longer term in their retention rates?
I would hope so. There's Abby.
I hope so too. There's Abby.
I mean, I would hope that people would do the right thing, but obviously there's the idiot Americans who just feel like they need insurance and they've never had a claim, so that they've never gone through it. Mm-hmm. They're none the wiser.
Well, the sad reality is when someone asks me, well, who should I be insured with? I have very few good answers anymore. I used to have like, oh, Chubb used to be great, but I've had some nightmare claims with Chubb recently. Lloyd's of London used to be phenomenal, right? You'd be like, oh, well, they're just going to write a check. Not anymore. They're going to take it all the way to court.
I will say some inside information that I've caught personally from people who have been to London to visit Lloyd's of London. They are actually sitting in a pretty decent financial position right now. So I do feel like that may be one of your better options. But when people ask me, I tell them, find somebody who's smaller, find somebody who doesn't run a commercial ad every time you flip on the damn TV or every time you flip on your streaming service.
Yep. I'm like a local mutual, Oregon Mutual in my state. Beautiful. Yeah. It's great. It's still a local based, homegrown. The adjuster lives there. Their offices are there. It's very different approach. PEMCO, another great company. You know how PEMCO adjusters are judged, are rated? They're rated solely on how the insured fills out the feedback form when the claim is closed. That's it. And it could have changed. It could have changed over the last 5 years, but it's not how much did I reduce it? How quickly did I close this thing? It's 100% graded on how well did my customer, the insured, rate me, which gives you a very different feel to the claim process.
Totally.
Cincinnati, another great one. In my experience, no nightmares that I've seen.
No, Cincinnati insurance is awesome, but they're another one they're selective. Back in I think it was 14, 15, they pulled out of a bunch of states, a bunch of Midwestern states, a bunch of Southern states. I think they kind of saw the writing on the wall that, hey, you know what, closer to home's probably better. And they're very selective with who they insure and where they insure. And I can't say anything bad about Cincinnati. They've been phenomenal. Every plan that I've ever worked with them, you can get an agreed price pretty easily, pretty fairly, pretty quick.
Yeah, I wrote as an I8, I wrote some sheets locally for them, and it was like, what's the right, is this the right number? Is this the right scope? It wasn't, man, that seems like a lot of money, and there was no like, we got to send it to the desk adjuster and have it scrubbed and blah, blah. No, it was like, it was as close as I've ever gotten to writing checks.
Mhm.
It was like my estimate, and then they got a check for the same amount. And I was like,
That's how I'm
holy
writing this
shit.
insurance company right now. It's fun, man. I mean, it is fun because you're not only helping these insureds, you're making good money doing it. But I mean, it's honest work. It's not fighting with people. Like, I'm so over, Andy, fighting with adjusters for bullshit. Like, what are we talking about? And half the line items
Right.
they want to fight you on. It's like, you want to fight me on $200? Like,
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
understand why they get to fight us on scope.
They
Why do they
don't,
fight us
but
on
we
scope?
let them.
Yeah, they try
oh, they
It's
try every time. That's where the argument
all
starts.
the time.
It starts with
Every single time.
nitpicking, and then they go to, well, did you really have to do this? Or did you really have to do it this many days? They don't even know. They've never been to water school. They've never turned on a DHU or an air scrubber or an air remover. They
They've
don't
never
know.
done demo.
No, they haven't done putback, especially.
Yeah,
You
that
know what I
too.
saw?
Tell me a damn adjuster you found that knows how to use a fucking hammer.
Yeah.
So I saw I had an appraiser, an opposing appraiser, write in an email along with a whole bunch of other bullshit. A decent or an experienced water damage technician can dry any structure in 3 days. That's what you said. Any structure can be dried in 3 days if the person has the right experience.
That's
And that
just
just shows you they don't know what the fuck they're talking
It's
about.
ignorant. You're exactly right, Abby. It is straight up ignorant. And I shot back at him. It was an email war. And the umpire, he wrote back an email to all of us in big red bold letters. Stop.
Mhm.
This umpire's like, I'm not gonna go there. Let me do my thing. So I'm looking forward to that panel discussion once we finally have it.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I have got an actual Word document that I use because we get it so much with the adjusters fight and scope. That is just all of the rebuttals, and it's just straight facts on stuff. It you know what? It decreases my time. I'm like,
Mhm.
here we go. Copy paste, copy paste, copy
Mhm.
paste.
That's what you gotta do.
But it's
And
sad that
it's
even come to
unfortunate.
that. It's sad that this industry gets shit on like we're not professionals.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I think
100%.
that's the saddest part of it all is you're being called more times than not, you're being called an emergency situation to somebody's largest asset,
Mhm.
and then you're shit.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't
Like-
understand how we've gotten this far to where this is now the industry.
I don't know. I think there's too many people that weren't doing it accurately,
We're doing. Oh, you think so?
and it ruined it for all of us. It
I
only
think
takes
we've
one
always had
person.
that though. I mean, any industry has that, but I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't think that's necessarily what's caused it. I think it's been a lot of people at the top of these carriers lining their pockets. They've taken some heavy losses over the last few years. They don't like it. And
Mhm.
now they're tightening things up and they're only hiring people who are inexperienced,
Mhm.
who know how to use a computer to type 100 words a minute, so that they can, get their rebuttals out and just fight.
Mm.
Right.
That's literally all they're doing, but they're burning out their own adjusters. I mean, I've talked
Yeah,
to
they
some
are.
good adjusters on the other side who are like, I'm so tired of doing this.
Hmm.
I don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, where does that
I'm
end?
over it.
Yeah, where does that end though? I mean, once they start losing everybody, where do they go?
They're going to replace them with a machine. It's going to be so ridiculously automated here pretty quick, and they're going
It's
to
even
push more and
worse.
more on it, on third parties and TPAs and construction consultants.
I got a question talking about the AI stuff the other night and how
Yeah.
it could impact the water mitigation industry. But how do you think it's going to affect us when going against the carriers? Because I would imagine the carriers are going to use them too.
I see a point in the not too far future where the carrier sends out a lackey, like sends out a what's that service where you can we go look. That's a service, right? There's certain carriers using this we go look. It's like Uber's or DoorDash. for claims. And so I foresee a future where they send out DoorDash, Claims Dash, and that person takes some pictures and then feeds it into the machine, and the machine generates based on all the data they have, and then the data they collect on the site, it comes out with an estimate, and that person says, well, sign here, this looks like it's worth 20 grand, and they're going to start issuing checks again on site, I think. And it's all going to be backed up with AI estimates. Have you
That
seen
actually may not
Impartial?
be a bad way to go, though, because if you truly think about it, insurance using AI or robots, period. The beautiful thing about AI and robots is they don't lie.
Hmm.
So
But
that is the interesting conundrum in it.
can they be set to their parameters though?
Oh, absolutely.
They can, but for
Oh,
how long and how
absolutely.
hard is that to do?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean,
going to
Andy?
happen.
Like you and I have done deep dives on the AI stuff. Like I think if you told it stuff that it's feeling is incorrect, it's going to kindly correct you versus wanting to be told to do the incorrect thing. Like
Well, have you
that would be more
seen
of a program.
the new rules in X1 that they're trying to hammer down?
Dude, what the hell's wrong with Xactimate? I can't use every sheet I'm writing right now. I have to go back to May. I can't use a June sheet to save my life because there's no freaking water stuff. There's no, I can't get
Is
a
June
dumpster.
still broken? I haven't even
June's still
checked.
broken. I
We-
tried to write
we
one this
just-
morning and I wrote a freaking June thing. I had to write to replace a freaking aluminum awning, like one of the easiest things in the world. But it's like, well, I can't get a dumpster, so the hell can I use to take this thing away? Couldn't get a tandem axle to start, so I was like, maybe I'll get a small dumpster. Couldn't do that. I'm like, what the?
Wait, in
This is
the
stupid.
program, the database is broken, so you can't find those items.
And they don't populate.
Not there.
They're not there. Like if you go to water stuff, and I was just curious to see if that was still broken too. So I went to the water. I was like, yeah. How am I drying with no dehues, no air?
We're a
movers?
week
This
into
is
June and they
interesting.
haven't solved this problem.
We
I think
just
they've
now
got something broken.
we just now got June's price list. Like today. We just got it.
So is
And
it
I wrote-
functioning?
It seemed to be for me, but we did a crawl space. So I wrote that. I didn't have any issues, but we were still stuck in May's price list.
Hmm.
And hell,
Mhm.
I was in April's price list almost the whole month of May.
See, May, I never had issues, but as soon as June came, it was like, what is going on here?
Well, you guys need to be in a position, and Zach, you and I need to put our clients in the position to be able to fall back to that custom price list. And at least you know that there's some margin built into it, but it's not broken because you created it on a price list that still works. But the beauty with that is you can name it something other than May 2023 or
Right.
June 2023. You can just name it. So what I've done in a lot of my custom lists that I've created is I just name the geography. So it's mid valley, mid Willamette Valley, Oregon, or Portland.
Now, is
Right.
that in Xactimate or is that in a different program?
pricing.exactware.com. That'll get you close enough. You can figure it out from there.
Okay.
Pricing.exactware.com.
I probably do need to go back to my last list I made early.
Just
May.
go back to what works, right?
Well, that would work. The one that I made in early May would work.
Why
would make my life
is
easier.
Xactware silent on this? This
They're not.
seems
They've
like
been
a
sending
big
emails.
deal.
I've gotten 3 emails over the last week.
I haven't received any. I
I
paid
haven't
for
gotten-
4 licenses.
I haven't gotten any.
Now, maybe because I called in and was like, what is going on?
I have 2 licenses.
I raised my hand, so I got put on a list.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think Xactware has a similar problem to a lot of folks in our space is they've got a communication problem. They don't know how to communicate. They're not used to communicating. They're actually used to hiding everything, right? And keeping everything close to their vest. So this new world is scary and new to them. But this is something, if QuickBooks had something like this happen, there'd be a
God.
freaking nationwide press release.
Oh God, yeah. CNN
Right?
would
They'd
be
be-
reporting on it nightly.
They would, and they'd try to get so far out in front of it. But this is serious. We don't have a working price list and we're 7 days into the month. That's a problem.
it is a problem for anybody who's gonna have a serious claim.
Mhm.
I mean, most times, I mean, the only good thing is if you're having to write an Xactimate estimate, that means insurance is writing an Xactimate estimate, so. You're gonna talk to the
They're all-
adjuster, I'd hope you'd both be like, so can we just agree that we're gonna use last month's? And I'd be like, yeah, let's do that. At least it works.
Yeah.
And
I
prices have
wonder
fluctuated
I
over
wonder
a
if they're
week, but
still writing using a broken price list. What do you think?
they can't. How can you when you can't populate line items?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, I hear what you're trying to say, but if you can't, if you have a wet structure that needs dried out and you can't find any equipment, you can't really write a sheet. Have a problem.
No,
I mean,
No,
I'm
you
just saying,
cannot.
you're gonna have a problem.
no, you cannot. I'm gonna pull up the I'll show you for just for shits. I'll do a little show and tell on the custom pricing here. So this is, you guys can see this, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So this is a list of all I've put together a few. So Portland, let's do Oregon. OR. See what comes up. Oh, that's not gonna work, is it? There we go. So just for Oregon, I've got Oregon North Coast. I've got Oregon Mountain Resorts, Oregon Southern Willamette Valley, which is different than the Northern Willamette Valley, which will be Portland, Oregon Metro. So I've got these they're just teed up. They're ready to go. So at any moment, if I wanted to publish any one of these, I just come in here and publish. Let's do OR. Let's do a Bend, Oregon. Oh, I'm curious. So if June is broken, when I publish this, it's going to be based on the June price list.
So will it work?
Let's play. Let's play, shall we? Here we go. Let's do Oregon North Coast. Let's do Sun River. Let's do Sun River. ORSR. Okay, let's do that. And then let's do it. Well, let's just call it June. Just give me an underscore in there. Come on. Come on. There we go. That was ORSR. Okay. I'll give that a moment to populate and churn. I'm going to open up an estimate and see what happens.
I'm telling you, if it's broken, it sucks.
Captain Obvious, thank you for coming to the roundtable today.
Now, what would be funny is if somebody like actually came out and hacked it. Like they come out a few days later and they're like, ha,
right?
took the
Gotcha.
insurance industry down by the knees. Then I'd be happy. Be like, ah.
Great.
Do I have a water? Let's try this. Mitigation sample. Hey, let's see if it'll break the actionable profile. Let's download this one. So if you use it well, we'll do it two different ways. Let me get this thing open. Mitigation sample open. It's not done publishing yet. We got 4% left. I'm gonna give it a minute here.
I wonder what that would do with the actionable insight profile.
I'm gonna see if I can break it. Okay.
Probably what 4%'s doing.
Has been published. All right, let's share some screenage right here. All right, here we are. Let's download a price list by name. ORSR underscore June 23. You silly fools that have sales tax. Yes, please. Let's reprice it. Let's see if it finds. Oh, wait. Is there a way we can, if it doesn't find it, if item description differs, wait, item does not exist in the price list. Pause and confirm manually. There we
I'll
go.
tell you.
Mhm.
This is going to be it. All right. Drum roll, please. Boom. And it just did it. Okay. Interesting. All right. So what weren't you finding? Let's go in and find something. You said
Equipment, he said he couldn't find.
drying equipment.
Yeah,
Okay.
drying
So
equipment.
okay, so it repriced it here, but let's try WTR-AM. Oh, nothing.
Nope.
Or
Wow.
DRY. Oh, there's air
Yeah.
mover. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Uh
DHM is.
DHM. It's right there. Right there. Right there. Right there. What's working for me? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I mean, hopefully this is a sign that mine will be working in the morning.
But you're gonna have to download a new price list.
Dude,
I
I've been
would-
making a new price list every morning.
Okay, because I would delete the other one. Can you delete price lists in Xactimate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
You
it's
know what?
working for
I
me.
actually wrote a water claim today too, and I didn't have anything that I couldn't find. So maybe they did fix it, and I was in June. So
I didn't write a water claim today. The only thing I couldn't find was they didn't have tandem axle trailers or any kind of dumpster or anything to haul anything away.
Mm.
I
Well,
had a
let's-
dump
let's-
truck on mine, so they did
let's
have that.
look.
And maybe it's
Uh,
they're just giving the big old middle finger to Ohio right now. I don't know.
Well, it's just
I was in a
Ohio.
very specific price list for Central Ohio.
I was stuck in April for a long time, so you know it's
Where is oh, I don't have a section for that. Oh, let's just do that. So it's DMO DT trailer. There you go. It's
You
right
got
there.
it. Yep. Well, fingers
working.
crossed, sir, that I will be able to do a mitigation that I need to write in the morning.
Okay. Hey, all y'all who are jealous that I have this little window over here that gives me
Awesome.
hints. My favorite one still by far. When utilizing a roll-off dumpster, it may be warranted to augment the dumpster with water-resistant OSB plywood via one of the FRM UL 3/4. If you want the actionable profile, go to getinsights.org and sign up for the actionable profile and use the code word McCabe.
I'm
It'll
getting
get you
it this month.
90% off forever. No, I don't know. It's 90% off for a certain amount of time. I have no idea how long it is.
I'm getting it this month.
Do it. Do it.
I need to. Honestly, it makes life so much easier. Every time you've shown me, it makes me jealous.
gives
I'm
you
like,
the
all the
codes.
notes are right there. All the
It-
insights are right
Copy
there.
and paste your F9s. I mean, come on now. It's,
cool.
you know,
You're not wrong.
even if I paid for it, I'd pay for
Oh man, that's messed up.
it. Sorry.
That's wrong.
But no, I seriously, this is the way. Yeah, to quote the Mandalorian, this is the way.
This is the way.
Just do it. Who has seen season 3? I've watched one episode of season 3. You watch the whole thing?
Watched it all.
How was it? Did it get better?
Better. You thought it got bad?
First episode lost me. I was like,
Oh,
was
season
too
3?
season 3. It was too
Oh
campy.
yeah, no, it gets way better.
Okay.
Way
I'll give
better.
it another chance. Me and the boys will sit down and watch it again.
You got to understand. I mean, it's a story. I mean, they're just telling a story, but it is.
That's true.
It's good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So Andor, that's coming out in August? Or is that coming in July?
Sometime over the summer.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. And then October is Dune 2. Can't wait to watch that one. Oh, that's gonna be so good. So good. Well, what else is happening across the universe here?
I was gonna say.
Oh,
I
hey,
couldn't
Joe
stay
Spears
long
is sitting
tonight
out
to
here.
begin with. I'm gonna hop out of here. I got next 4 days at ballparks constantly.
But oh yeah. Yeah. How old's your kid?
Between the two of them, I've got Nora just turned 10, and she's being asked to play up with 12-year-old girls now, which is interesting.
What does she
And
play?
So she's kicking
softball.
ass.
Okay.
She's kicking
Awesome.
ass, but I'll tell you, my son, he's 11, getting ready to turn 12 at the end of this month. He plays baseball. Boys are so much damn easier. I am
Wait, they're
done
easier in
with
sports.
the preteen girl stage.
In sports.
Watching these
I've-
girls get catty with each other and fight. I'm over it.
Get
I've got
out
a
of here.
10-year-old too.
Oh, dude, it's a shit show. They're all so competitive, but they talk so much shit to each other. I'm like, really? Like,
Really?
why? Oh God, it's the dumbest things they say to each other. Like, why do we got to go there?
Drama.
Oh, it's
Man, we didn't even talk shit. We didn't talk shit. We just didn't.
dude, we
I
didn't
played,
care.
I played high school ball. I played JC ball. I played college basketball. We didn't talk shit to the other players.
No.
Unless I was dunking over them and then I was talking shit.
Well, no,
But
I'm
I
not
was on
talking the
court.
other team. I'm talking your own damn teammates.
Get out of here. What?
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, I could care less. They talk shit to the other team. Last night I had them all riled up because I'm a coach for my daughter's team, and this asshole, we had 2 minutes left on the clock, and he decides because we're only beating him by 2 runs, he wants to play another inning. So we go 30 minutes over because you
Extra
start an
inning
you
because
gotta
you're not
finish the
ahead by
inning.
enough.
Yeah, well, we beat him 9-4. So I kindly shook his hand as I walked off the field. You had enough? He didn't like that too much, but I really didn't give a shit. He made me stay at the field till 8:30. Should have been
Good
out of here.
God. What? Did he just get his money's worth? What's that? What was that, Abby?
So what happened to the 10-run rule?
They have a 5-run rule per inning, but they never call the game.
So wait, what does that mean? If you're up by 5 runs, the inning's over?
No, so if we score 5 runs in an inning in softball, you have the inning's over. Like you switch. So the other team gets the hit then, or the inning's over, depending on if you're home or away. Now my
Okay.
son's being in select. I mean, the first 3 innings, you can get beat by about 20 before they'll find the call.
Good God.
We've done that, and we've had that done to us. It's quite interesting.
Ouch.
It doesn't feel good
Ouch.
when you're getting your ass beat that way.
No, it don't. Hey, Mr. Spears, welcome to the party, man.
I'm gonna let Mr. Spears take my spot. Joseph, good to see you for a second. Guys, I like I said, I'm sorry to cut it, but I got a long few days ahead of me, but I will catch you all next week.
Good to see you, Zach.
Sorry,
How
I
long were
forgot
you
what
sitting
day
out
it
there,
was.
Joe? Were you sitting out there trying to get my attention?
Well, the Zoom chat is disabled, so I had to go in the Facebook chat to say something.
Hmm.
No, I
It's not
forgot what day
disabled
it
for
was. I
me.
was thinking today was still Tuesday for some reason.
That's
Oh.
that time warp. It's that time warp. So I think we established in a very unscientific study that the June price list is finally working. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, they did the day one changeover, which was the 01 June, but now they've disabled that pretty much, and it's just you need to price it back into February and all, or a different month, and then go back to it, and it's supposed to reset it all for you.
Oh, so it does work. Yeah, because I just downloaded a custom price list and it worked.
Yeah. Nope,
Okay.
I've been attending the 2-day. This is Xactimate certified pricing consultant class. Today was day one of a 2-day class.
2 days.
Okay.
Yep.
You got to go for 2 days, and I was there for 4 hours. How long was I there? 5 hours, maybe?
I think you had a 5-hour class. Yep. This is the 2-day course is
Probably in the Kia.
I mean it's a total of like 8 hours. It's 11 to 3 for 2 days, but I mean it's talking about the same shit that we talk about all the time so far. I mean nothing. I don't find anything super new about it. The biggest thing I will say that I did get them to confirm was like kind of a better definition of tools of the trade to help you argue. So like, for example, if you're using RFG labor, fall gear is a part of a roofer's tools of his trade because all roofers are expected to have fall gear.
Where does it say that?
Well, that's what where does it say that a hammer is included on a water tank? It's just a tool of the trade.
I don't know.
But that's their mentality. So if you're using DMO labor, then you should be charging fall gear and things like that, because a
Mm.
normal general demo guy wouldn't have those tools because that's not his
Right.
trade.
Right.
But it
And
changed
you were
our,
arguing that earlier.
yeah. But yeah, they confirmed that. They were talking about that today in there where, I mean, you know, you're for tools of the trade stuff. So, you know, it does help you validate some of your trade changes a lot of times. If you can say, oh, well, if you want me to keep it as demo, that's fine, but I need to add fall gear and I need to add X, you know, pretty much the only thing a demo guy would be expected to have is what? A hard hat and maybe a hammer.
Those guys should show up with gloves and steel-toed boots.
Yeah.
That's my expectation.
But, you know, it also helps you validate tools of the trade. Would you consider, we were having a conversation, me and Thea Tapson we're in the group together. We were having a discussion about it. Would you guys consider a respirator a tool of the trade for a restoration technician?
I think it's arguable.
I mean, our argument was not everybody does category 2 and 3s. There's some companies out there that only do water or category 1 losses. And I know that because you have to mark down whether you will do 1, 2, or 3 on like TPA program work.
Oh,
So it's job specific if you need the PPE or not. But yeah, we're talking about that a lot today. They are
who's
looking.
teaching that class?
Oh, you would ask me the question that I would forget all of a sudden.
Is he bald?
What class?
Yeah.
The certified pricing expert class.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of it was just pretty much, here's how line item works and here's how the direct yields work. And I think we got them to admit that they need to put out a piece of paper for us to give to attach to our estimates, kind of like the white pages, but more explains, you know, here's what the trade actually means within the trade value here. Here's what, you know, the direct yields mean. So when we alter them, adjusters who have no clue what they're talking about understand what the heck is going on.
It's gonna be so time consuming though.
Right.
But I mean, it is, but I mean, you know, good documentation helps us all around, but you know, it is one of the hardest things is changing your supporting events or your direct yields, your market conditions and stuff for an estimate, and the adjuster being like, I have no clue what you're doing, automatically denied. I mean, that's how it almost, I mean, it is.
You smell funny. Denied.
If adjusters have no clue what you're talking about, they're just gonna by default say that, well, that's not approved because I don't know how you did that.
That's so true.
But you
Yeah,
know,
but anymore, you could start talking about putting up a containment. No, this
Nope.
isn't a hazardous loss. No containments. We don't pay for
You-
containments.
You don't need gloves.
Handle that
Mhm.
shit barehanded.
that's like one of the people was talking about how they had temp laborers out on the job site and the adjuster tried to tell them they could not use WTR lines. They had to use regular line items as DMO because these are not water technicians doing the work. And I was like, I'd tell somebody to get on with themselves talking to me like that. Like,
Kick
Mhm.
rocks.
um,
Kick rocks.
but yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, hopefully I'll learn a little bit more than what you guys did since I have a little bit more time in the class, but it's like I said, I mean,
Yeah, wait till you get to that retail labor rate question. And that begs the question for me. I'm interested after tomorrow. Let's have a sit down. And if it's a retail labor rate and we can measure that markup using that overhead portion, why can we not measure the markup for the retail material rate? Right? Why is there no material overhead line item? Because I know full well some people in larger jobs, they're not going to Home Depot for that stuff. They're getting it from a supplier, they're paying wholesale and they're making the difference. But some projects on the smaller side, you absolutely are going to Home Depot or Ace or wherever you can get it, and you're paying full retail for it. So there is no margin. That's where the class, I was like, they left it open enough. I'm like, okay, so we're back to it's my fucking word against theirs. It wasn't definitive enough.
let me ask you this here, Andy, and you might have to pull your screen up and show me how you would do it. If I have to, let's just say, for lack of a better argument here, let's say my homeowner is going to buy the paint, but they're going to have us do all the work. How do you estimate that? How do you mark your estimates when homeowners provide a specific material? Like they're, hey, I'll go out and buy this myself. I'll have it here waiting for you.
I don't do it in Xactimate. Don't do that in Xactimate. I would say, if you're going to buy the materials, all right, I'll give you how many gallons, go get it. And whatever you spend, I'm going to issue a credit to our final invoice for whatever materials you spent. That's cleaner, it's easier to track, and it's less confusing than trying to manipulate Xactimate to give you the answer. The answer is whatever they fucking spent. That's it. So
What
keep
they
it clean.
sh-
Do a
what
change
they-
order for it.
Well, what they showed us to do was, let me bring up that file here real quick. I'm just gonna use May, so I don't have to worry about June if it is still messing up any.
But that's all. Keep in mind, my philosophy on Xactimate is it's a claim settlement tool. It's not a project management tool, and it's definitely not an invoicing tool. So
But
once that claim is settled and payment's been made, Xactimate for me as a contractor goes right out the window.
Well,
I issue a change order, I issue a scope and a change order for what we're actually going to do. And then from that point forward, any changes are via change order to that document, not Xactimate. Xactimate's gone.
Well, here's the thing.
All right, I'm watching.
So, you know, if you do P2 there, right? Which would mean that your material selection right now is $405. But if the homeowner is going to buy the paint, you know, they want you to mark it as homeowner, which will give you, instead of 405, it's going to give you 433 because it does not include any markup or any overhead and profit. And then you have to go in and delete, how they told us to do this. Before you go in there, you have to go in, edit, and delete the parts that you're still going to provide. And then mark it as homeowner. And it's supposed to, but it's still giving me the same numbers. I don't understand how they want us to do it exactly, but that's what they're trying to tell us to do is now it's just the paint. And then you would do PNT P2, 1,500 square feet. And you would say this one here is remove the paint. Oh, no. Remove the.
You want to mark the other one as a credit then?
Well, no, because because this here is.
Oh,
giving
you
me-
just deleted the paint material
Well,
from
because-
the PNTP2 plus. Okay.
Well, because if you do on the PNT, yes, you just.
Mr.
remove
Lightning
the
Fingers
material.
here.
But like, that's the way you're supposed to do it, because the problem is like, we were talking about it like on carpet. If I've had homeowners all the time, I'll go buy the carpet. Well, if you mark a line item as material only, and you try to, you know, say, okay, I'm going to give you, you know, a carpet here. You buy 100 square feet, that material only, that 285, that includes the tack strip and the seaming tape, which a homeowner doesn't buy. They're just buying the carpet only. And even if you're doing that, even for all my people out there that do the NFC, you know, here one, see how it says 5 cents? That's because it's including the tack strip and the seaming tape. So if you're just
Give me the reasons why a homeowner would want to buy their own material.
they want to go to the local Habitat for Humanity or the secondhand store and buy. I had a homeowner, they were like, the vanity I want at Habitat for Humanity for like $800. I want to go, that's the one I want. And I don't have an account at Habitat for Humanity, and they're like, I'll just go get it. I have, you know, so I mean, there's people that do stuff like that, you know.
So to save money.
They think it's to save money, but it's not their money to save. It's not their money to save.
Well,
It's the insurance money.
if you've written your contract correctly, it's your money they're trying to go get. They're trying to reduce your profitability and reduce your margins.
But then that's the thing, is a lot of people would just mark it as material only and say, oh, well, you've got X amount of money, but they forget that there's other parts within that material component list, not just the carpet. There's also this and that.
Yeah, that's the other thing I would do. I just print the components list and say, here's your allowance. Spend it or lose it. Right. I mean, you know, if you have an allowance of $10,000 for your flooring, you only spend $5,000, You're not getting 5 from me. That's how I would write my, and that's how I did do it when I was a contractor, a project manager, because, you know, if you taught paint, drywall, and flooring, if people are supplying their own shit, there goes all your profit, right? If you're giving them all that. Now, if they want to go spend their allowance,
Well, it's like how many times you
They
sell
can.
someone, you know, you've got LITAV, you've got $21 per light. Go find some lights you like or whatever. You know,
no
and
one
they
likes a
find-
$21 light.
you know, but I mean, just for our, let's just say it's $20, you know, and they find a light for $10. Does that remaining $10 go into their pocket? Is it
Not-
issued a refund? To
Not in my business. It might in yours, but not in mine.
I've actually had that conversation once where I'd estimated for like a full pack out and it got approved. And then my contractor was like, oh, well, the flooring guy showed up there and all ahead of schedule and they just moved everything to the left and right and were able to do it without packing the house out. And I was like,
Ugh.
and the homeowner's like, well, do I get that money back? And I was like, nope, it's not your money. Like, I'll let the insurance company know. The adjuster said, Joe, in 20 years of doing this, I've never had a contractor contact me and ask how to give me a refund. They're like, have this conversation, shut up. And I was like, okay.
Exactly.
But I mean, you know, you know me, like I have a high, I try to be very integrity or have very high integrity level. And like, I won't play that game. Like the homeowners have to spend $1,000 if that's their deductible. Any other money that's not technically theirs to spend, you know, and just keep pocket. Like I don't, you know, either spend
That's
it
where
or
that's
find
where in my
somewhere else to use it.
contract, you know, I always say either in the opening statement or in the contract, this estimate is based on the assumption this is a package price. If individual items are removed or changed, the total will be changed. The estimate will be adjusted to accommodate that. Just because if you let them, they'll take all the profit out of it. And you'll be left with the unprofitable portion that they don't want to do anyway.
Hell, I walked away from a job because the homeowner was like, well, my best friend down at the Mason Lodge is a plumber and I want to use him to do all my plumbing. And my neighbor does tile work. So I want you guys to do everything but the tile and the plumbing work. And I was like, you lost me at the first word of plumber because everybody has to have a contract with me. So we do it all or we don't do anything. And, but you know,
Be permitted too. Like you can't just have Joe Schmo do it.
Yeah, you can't have another plumber coming working on your permit.
No.
well, most contractors don't pull their own plumbing permit. They let the plumber they hire pull the plumbing permit.
Mhm.
So as long as that plumber
Sure.
pull a permit, who cares? But
I
I'm
do.
not gonna pay him, you know, because I don't know him and I have to warranty them. But,
Right.
you know, the reason why like I said, I asked that question is because there's a lot of people, they will. Oh, my homeowner said they're gonna go out and buy all the lights and they'll have them here when we get here. Well, that's great, but you know, make sure you're not, your materials are, when you're trying to use that system marketed as material only, make sure you're paying attention to the components because even your, you know, per independent scope price has materials built into it by default that are not ITEL waiting on an ITEL number from it. And I think a lot of people miss that part. They did say they are working at trying to figure out a way to easily apply after hours to line items, like a little radio button or something that where you can mark it as an after hours item, which would be great because as Thea brought up in the groups, you know, we do a water loss. Well, IRCRC states you can't set air movement until the job's been cleaned and sanitized. And by the time you get to the cleaning section, usually you're in after hours for most jobs. So,
Yep.
you know, do you leave and come back the next, you just said he's up and say, we'll be back tomorrow at 9 because it's now 5 o'clock and all, or how do you buff those numbers up to account for the after hours? So
but there are after hours line items.
only in WTR. Only in
Okay.
WTR. So like
Yeah, there's no cleaning after hours charge.
nothing else is after hours. So if you're cleaning stud work after hours, or let's say, Andy, let's say that it's a let's say it's a restaurant. And they're like, we want you to do the work after hours because we're still going to try to stay open during construction during the daytime. So come in after hours. It's a pain in the ass to use Xactimate to buff that number up, you know, or
Yeah,
the homeowner, I work third shift. Can you please not come out here until 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? So that way there I can get a couple hours of sleep and then over half your jobs after hours. You know, it's a hard way it's a pain.
It's real hard.
No, thank you.
Real hard.
It's a pain in the butt sometimes to try to calculate out how do I do that increase on the rate there?
Yeah, it
We
is.
talked about they are looking into the PL components, which would be great if they can get that fixed.
PL components.
So, okay, I'm not sure my screen again. So if I'm in regular carrier mode here, and I go to say, let's say I do PNT P2, and let's say it's 1200 square feet of painting, right? Let's do a random number, 1258.63 square feet of wall, since it doesn't have to be painted, right? Under the components here, I need 6.87 gallons of paint. We don't buy 6.87 gallons of paint, do we?
No.
Oh,
So,
You buy 5 or 10. Yeah.
right. So, and right now there's not an easy way. This is why the only time I tell people to use carrier or contractor mode. So in carrier mode, if I go in here, all I have is PL selectors. But if I were to take this estimate, duplicate it into contractor mode has a fancy little thing that I do not know why we don't have it on carrier. And that is components. So we said we have 6.87. So what's that? 10 minus 6.87. We need 3.13 gallons of extra paint.
Okay.
Well, then what you can do on contractor mode is I can go P and T, and instead of hitting selectors here, I now have components, and I can type in latex paint per gallon. And now I can say, what did we say? It was 3.83 or whatever it is. And I can add my paint as a line item without having to make a custom price line item up or whatever. And I can even
You're a goddamn ninja.
if you're doing water losses. Oh, we need more blue tape on this job. I can go into components and I can type in tape, and here's preservation tape. And I can say we use, 2 rolls of tape. Boom.
I had no clue. Did you
And-
learn that in Xactimate level 3? Where'd you learn that?
It was stumbled upon. I'll put it that way. But yeah,
That's the problem with Xactimate. It is so big. There's so many different things. It's overly complicated. This has been hiding from me for over a decade.
Here's drywall, right? Okay, well, if I do material only, and I need to add, say I needed to add, a sheet, so 32 square feet. Well, that line item there includes the board, the corner bead, the drywall compound, the nails, all this shit. Well, if you're in the contractor mode, I can get my computer stop freezing. I can just, instead of doing it like that, I can just do the components and say, oh, there's my gypsum board, 32 square feet. Boom. There's one. I can add up my extra just the gypsum and not have to worry about the other materials included in it. But this will transfer over to carrier mode if you write it first in contractor.
You write it in contractor first.
But I'm working really hard. I'm trying to get them to let us have this component selector here in the carrier, because how many times I know I'm going to need to add for some extra corner bead.
Right. Yeah.
And here's the thing is the corner bead that's listed on your drywall stuff. In the last year, I've watched it every month. And I know it's a silly line item to choose, but I watch it every month. And for the last year in Indianapolis, you cannot buy metal corner bead for the price that's in the list there. It's always about 10 cents higher. You can buy the plastic cheap ass corner bead, but you can't buy the metal one. It's never priced right. But this is how you're supposed to do it. If you need to add for some extra sand putty or, and it's for all of them. If they,
on a big enough job, that's going to make a difference.
Yeah. Well, if you're in the cleaning here, you can do the selectors, but you can go to the components here and add for more muriatic acid if you need to, more general purpose cleaner because it's really dirty and all.
How many gallons of muriatic acid does it take to dissolve a body?
I think they tell you that on Breaking Bad. But I mean,
But don't do it in a metal tub.
but like say for example, you have a whole lot of wood furniture that needs to be wiped down and you need extra lemon oil. I'm just throwing something out there. This is how you're supposed to be able to add the stuff without having to take the time to.
Well, in the very
Start-
least, if they would just round up to the nearest whole number on materials, that would make a huge difference.
Well, I talked to them about that, and what their conversation with me on that was, well, so if I'm doing, what do you do drywall?
What material exists that you can get a fraction of a unit?
Well, here's the thing is, I don't know why I typed those there, sorry. 15, 20 there. Okay, so
Drywall you can't get in less than 32 square foot.
but
you can, but
that's the thing is if if you're looking at the components here, yes, the drywall should be able to be rounded up. But your corner beads, your drywall compound, your nails and screws, and your joint tape, that all stuff is probably you'll carry over whatever you have left over to the next job. Because it's ambiguous across all the jobs. If you have a little bit of waste in this situation, because let's say you're buying 4x8 sheets, so 1794 33 divided by 32, it's 56. In this situation, maybe you're going to keep that almost a full shade drywall, but if it came out to 0.88, you're going to throw the rest of it away. And that's where they're scared to let us do the rounding in here, is because, well, are you going to round up everything to the first whole number and then but you're going to stockpile it at the shop for the next job? With latex, if it's a custom color match, yeah, you'll probably leave it behind. So rounding makes sense, but
you will leave it behind. What was that? What was that, Abby?
Then they should let you do the rounding on the components only.
They should.
But they're afraid that people will round everything to the nearest whole number. Or
Are they though?
I mean, that's what their opinions seem to be for me, because they're like, well, latex paint, it's a custom color. Yeah, you'll leave it behind, but your sealing agent is, it's a basic white. You're going to carry that over to the next job, so you wouldn't ever need to round that one necessarily. And I'm like, yeah, but you still kind of need to.
Well, except for the fact that you can't buy it I can't buy a 0.33 gallons of anything.
Right.
Well, and their mentality is that, well, if you take all the jobs you're working on, you're good, and you across the board, then you're going to have plenty of whole numbers and end up with some leftovers here and there. Because the drywall here, you only need 1,520 square feet of drywall. Xactimate, because of the supporting events.
But if I'm only doing one job a month, that mud's going to be solid next time I try to pull it out.
That's a good point there. But
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to figure. That's what they told me they were hesitant on letting us do that, because they think people would just go click, 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 and round everything up. But
Request third-party pricing. What's that?
that's something they're working on, where eventually you're supposed to be able to hit a button and it's going to review and validate through the direct supplier whether or not that's a valid price.
Huh.
For anybody who's watching who doesn't know what direct supplier is, I'll show you real quick. I'll do my little.
It's got potential. It's got potential. It's not perfect yet.
Let me pull a fire one up. So here's a big fire one. If you don't know about this here, it is a great feature they're working on. Go to Sketch. After you write your entire estimate up, you click on the little pad of paper with a green arrow right here. Send you to a website, which is direct supplier. The best thing about it is you can take it to a homeowner and show them like in their house and say, hey, pick what you want here. But it goes to a website and you can actually order your materials somewhat successfully.
So you can order directly from there?
Yeah. So I can go here. I can open this file up and I can say, I want, right now I can mark it as I want to buy materials within 25 miles of the same account address of my home office. Or maybe it's way out in bumfuck Egypt. So maybe you want 25 miles of the property address instead. You can change that up.
Miles? You're going to drive 25 miles to a Home Depot?
Okay, let's say 10 miles. Then a 10-mile radius. Well, now then it's going to search it, and then I can go in here to appliances and say, oh, okay, Mr. Homeowner, you need 2 dishwashers. Xactimate gave me $514. pick one out. And the homeowner goes, oh, I like this one here. And I can actually add it and it'll build a shopping cart for me. And I can go to drywall. Now I do like the drywall.
But that will not throw it back into the estimate.
Not yet.
But
But
that's one of the features coming up.
hopefully, yeah.
Nice.
So like on this estimate, I need 5,169 square feet of drywall. And based on my Xactimate pricing, I'm estimating 39 cents a square foot. My conversion rate for 4x8s is 34 square feet or 34 cents here. 40 cents, it's 40 cents for 10 footers. So I definitely don't want to buy that one.
But guess what? None of this includes your guy in a truck driving across town, picking it up.
The best thing I like about it though, for the drywall is if I click on 8 footers here, it'll tell me you need 162 sheets. Well, if I do the 10 footers, I need 130. And the nice thing
So
about
that will round it up. That will.
yeah.
So will it do paint as well?
Well, let's say I'm going to buy 100 sheets of the 8 footers. And now I can go to the 12 footers, for example, I only going to need 42. I can go to the 10 footers, I'm only going to need 50. It knows how many you're going to need left over now.
Pick the other ones. Cool.
That's nice.
And then, like I said, that's how I've been checking the corner bead, because metal corner bead, 43 cents, break even at right now at Lowe's. You can, anywhere you go, unless you, well, okay, here's some metal one finally for 38 cents. But most times they're like plastic here. But yeah, if you do paint, let's see.
It was the metal corner bead that broke the June price list. We just figured it out.
If I go to painting here, I need 38.77 gallons of paint. I'm estimating $48.99 a gallon.
All right. So when you go to paint, is it going to say 39 gallons or is it going to say 40 gallons?
It's thinking right now. It's
It
populating
is
a whole
thinking.
lot of
It's
paint.
thinking really hard.
Corner bead broke it.
Corner
So-
bead all day.
So this is where it's weird, because like this Home Depot paint by Gideon.
1
it equates
gallon.
up- This is a
Okay,
1 gallon.
but
it's
click on it and see how many it says.
39.
39. There it is. Okay.
But you know, $15.98 a gallon, and I'm charging $48.99 a gallon.
I would paint it. I would paint the entire block with
But
that
I'm
paint.
sure there's plenty of people out here that are saying, Joe, if you buy Gideon paint, I'll murder you or something. You know? I can go down
Look
here.
at that. 99. I just saw $99 a gallon. Woo.
Modern Master
100.
metallic paint,
Woof.
Rust-Oleum, here's 47. I mean, you know, but I mean, eventually they're working on
That's
this
the paint with the metal corner bead in it already. I see this.
So like here's your Zinsser sealant
All
here. 40 gallons, $40 a gallon for the clear shellac.
We're special. We're painting on our corner bead. No.
But eventually they're gonna have more in here, because obviously right now you can see it's all Home Depot here. But
Yeah.
I mean, this
All
is
right.
like a great tool
Well,
for everybody.
We're 6 minutes past and I got to get home because I'm wanted. But this was good. I like this was a good conversation. Abby and I had to hold it down for you though, Joe, because you weren't here.
You know, every week I message you, say, hey, what are we talking about this week before the class?
Didn't today though.
You could always say, if I'm not here within 3 minutes of starting, you should be like, Joe, you're late.
WTF. Put down the corner bead.
The
Let's
world's
get to
going
work.
insane. But,
Oh, well,
hey,
good to
man,
see
it's
y'all.
fault.
Good to see you.
Hey, should we address the Shane O'Dazier situation?
Sorry.
All right, Joe wants to. We're going to go overtime a little bit. I'm going to give you the perspective on this from the admins of this group. And we're not going to use his name anymore. I said it. We had a person that was part of the group for a long time, got kicked out of the group because all he was doing was spamming the group, promoting his shit. And we kind of frown on that. We don't appreciate that. He finds his way back into the group. We let him back in. And for a little bit, he's providing mostly educational content. So we let it slide and let it slide, let it slide. But the last 5 months, it's been nothing but little snippets of well, this is how I did this. Click here to, I'll show you how. And it was nothing but clickbait, calls to action. And he was selling his thing, whatever it was. And so I didn't know about it. The other admin didn't know about it, but one of the moderators booted him again. And then he proceeded to message all of us, what happened? I got kicked out again. And then he proceeded to complain on his own page about the rebels. And so at the end of the day, that's what happened. I don't know, Joe, if you have a different perspective on it or not, but that's what it looked like from my side.
Essentially, that's what happened. And I mean, I'm not an admin moderator, so nobody shoot me, but I mean, I talk to everybody now. But here's the thing also is I've also been guilty of it myself. And that is there are tons of Facebook groups out there. And for the most part, you'd be shocked probably, but everybody's a group member of all the different groups. So when you post it, if you post one ad in Rebels and then in Xactimate Ninjas and then in this group and this group, people get annoyed when they see
It's
the same post,
content
like
over and over and over again.
in a row because it's posted everywhere. And I don't ever post clickbait videos, but like I've done my little hey line item thing or whatever, and I usually would post in many groups. And even I've gotten comments, hey Joe, like pick a group and post in one or two groups maybe, because that way everyone will see it, because Jesus Christ, it's like a spam going on here of seeing your name everywhere. And I'm like, I didn't even ever.
That's a good point. And you also say that again.
At least he's trying to educate, not sell something. That's different.
Yes, right. You're not trying to get eyeballs onto your website or your private Facebook group to sell them a package of coaching or whatnot.
Well, we have a specific
hope
day
I'm
for
not
that
either.
kind of stuff, and every Sunday you're allowed to market all you want in the Rebel group on Sundays. And, I have no problem with people marketing personally, whether or not you want to buy into his stuff, if you want to buy into what we say, it's your choice. It's your business, guys. But,
Right.
It's kind of like everyone complaining about every time someone asks, well, everyone posts a question about, how can I find something? You get many people that use the search bar. It's because people get tired of having to answer the same question all the time. It does get a little bit overbearing at times when you see the same video over and over.
We do have a search bar. We do have a search bar.
But
we have tons of content. Search for it. It's out there.
But I agree with you. At first it was somewhat full-length videos at times, but it definitely divulged into a 20-second highlight. Click here to find out more scenarios.
It got stupid. It got stupid quick. What'd you say, Abby?
I said we also have a files section, which has a lot of good info.
Tons of good stuff. Encircle was perusing our files section. They found the 24-hour tech. And then they called me and said, hey, let's talk about this. And now they're going to try to build the 24-hour tech into Encircle, which I'm super stoked on.
That's cool.
So, all right,
I will say one last thing. Everybody be aware, like, there are many people in Rebels that, or these other groups like that represent, Encircle, Xactimate, even like your
adjusting groups, carriers.
These posts do carry weight for people. Like I've had many people contact me about Xactimate stuff because I've mentioned stuff. I've actually gotten in trouble for posting stuff I shouldn't post before. But I
think neither one of us confirmed or denied that incident.
I don't know what you're talking about there. But
exactly.
May or may not.
You guys, I know sometimes it seems like in these groups it's just people complaining, arguing, or it's just us, hearing ourselves talk. But guys, like our voices do carry weight, and there are people that pay attention to what we say or what you guys think when you post questions or
100%.
your issues. And it's how we make the industry better. So don't ever feel afraid to post something,
Yeah. All right. Now we're officially done. Bitch Fest over. Good to see you guys. All you out there, same bat channel next week, Wednesdays, 5:30 Pacific. Get on here. We'll see you then.